Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, 7:15 here in Ireland. I'm glad you all are here with us. Today we have a new participant here. Yeah, and I don't know him. Would you mind to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, of course. My name is Gaspar.
Gaspar.
Yeah,
I thought you were the bold barista.
yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So um, today we will start a new chapter, chapter 16 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, and it's an interesting chapter. The main topic of the chapter is it's not possible to serve both God and Mammon. Dani,
Nice to have you here.
wow, good to have you here, my dear. It's a long time I don't know if you are watching but a long time you don't write to us, so good to have you here. Leah, how are
Yeah,
you, Leah? So, okay, people are joining. So, let's do the initial prayer.
sure.
Can you do?
Sure. Dear Master Jesus, we would like to invite you to be here with us tonight, to be among us who are still learning, to be among us who are still in despair. For us that have plenty to learn, please be a model, be the light for us. Help us to not get afraid of the journey. Help us to keep going, but help us even more to not fail in our improvement, to not fail once we have to be charitable, to not allow ourselves to be rude with the others. Help us to improve our humbleness. Stay with us, Master. Guide us, but above all, thanks God for the lives that we have. So be it.
Okay. Okay, as I said, today we will start a new chapter, chapter 16 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. And uh, it's a chapter full of parables at the beginning, so we will try to cover these parables today, and then we will enter into the text written by Kardec and the instructions from the spirits. And the first parable here is the salvation of the rich, in which this parable here, Jesus said the famous sentence that it is easy a camel. No,
There is a parable before that, Steven.
no, the salvation of the.
Yeah, salvation of the rich, but there is a parable. Then there is there is another one.
Mm, yeah, yeah, but anyway, it's what Jesus wants to mean here. The salvation of the rich. Um, we this guy came to Jesus and asked him, "Oh, I wanted to follow you," and Jesus said, "Okay, give your things to the poor, and follow me. So applying to our to nowadays, we will be ready to follow Jesus. Let's say Jesus just appear right now and say, "Hey, follow me." Will you say yes right away and go, or you? Oh, I will go, but I need first to get some clothes here. I need to close my banking account. I need to do this. I need to do this. All this. The let's call these administrative procedures we shall do before. And I would say I am the team, the B team here. I would say, okay, right, stay there. I just need to make a couple calls here, and I will follow you. You know. Uh, so hi, Leon. I hope in Rio you are okay, warm and bright. But the point here is how many of us are ready to truly give ourselves, our confidence into Jesus? How how far we can go when we face a problem, when we face any difficulties in our life? How many times we put our problems in God's hands, in Jesus' hands, and we take it out? How many times we have done this, and how many times we will do this? Because if I have a problem, oh no, okay, I will put that. Some people, they just put the problem and think that Jesus and God will sort it out, all the problems. No, you have to put your faith in order to, okay, please enlighten me the way in order to do the right thing here. And it's all, for me at least, I don't know for you, Wanderley, it's all connected. Because how I will follow him, how I put my problems on him, if I don't, I think the word, I don't trust, I don't have that faith. I think that what reigns here is faith, the true faith, not the faith in the mouth. Well, you can ask someone, "Oh, you have faith?" Yes, I do have faith, but the faith when you are in that moment and say, "Now, yes," you need to put it right away. What do you think, Manuel?
No, I think it's a nice thought, Steven. But I want to bring a little bit to the other side because here in this part, all the parables that the spirits brought with Kardec, they are talking about material stuff, about riches, avarice and things like this. As you said, sometimes we hold too much, we don't trust. But in this case, it's kind of nice because we have certain parables. For example, the parable of the rich man that he was having a lot of stuff, he had a lot of crop, he had a lot of lands, and he was so happy and proud of himself. And then he said to himself, I'm gonna build bigger place to put my crop. And then, an angel said to him, God, as it says here in the parable, actually, uh, man, your soul will be taken tonight. And where? For whom would you give this belongs? You know, so we have to understand that sometimes we give a lot of importance to what's not really the important things. We all need material stuff here to live. We all need possessions in order to survive in this world. I need my watch. I need my phone, I need my computer. We all need certain things nowadays. But what Jesus is trying to bring here, using the parables of 2,000 years ago, is to try to, as he tried to bring the importance of not really giving too much importance to the material belongs at that time, we have to bring that to nowadays. But nowadays, much harder than Jesus' times, because nowadays we have iPhone 13. Nowadays we have Apple. Nowadays we have all this stuff. We have nice Ferrari or nice cars, whatever. At Jesus' time we didn't have that. What I'm trying to say that the time that we are living at the moment, it's a tough time. It's a tough time. But at the same time, we have to be careful to not lose ourselves, like we have here, like we have with the rich man and Lazarus. When a rich man, he didn't care about the poor people, about the poor man who was a beggar in front of his house. So then when he passed away, he started to realize what he had done. The same as for André Luiz, we have in the book Nosso Lar or Astral City. The same happens to him. So if, like all the things that we have, everything, all the resources that we have. Imagine if tomorrow we die, or if tomorrow we discover that we have a cancer. We have a terminal cancer that we're going to be dying in 1 month or 2 months' time. Would that riches make any sense to us? Of course, if you have some material possessions, you can pay for a good doctor, you can go to a good hospital. But imagine if your terminal cancer is like it's 100% sure that you're going to live only for 2 months. Then everything that you did was only in pursuit of gaining, gaining, and gaining. And that's what the subjects which these parables they bring here. They bring all subjects which were attached to material things. We have Zacchaeus, the famous Zacchaeus, who, according to Spiritism, according to Chico Xavier himself, he was Bezerra de Menezes in recently times. So we have him who was someone who realized that he was only charging, you know, trying to charge over higher taxes from among his friends, his fellow Jews. And he realized this, then he tried to change his ways. So he realized that what he was doing wasn't really the best for his soul, because he was only thinking about material stuff. And how many of us do we do that? How many of us we say, I think about spirituality tomorrow. No, it's okay. I will think about going to the church, to the temple. Doesn't matter the place that you go, or even if you're an atheist. Tomorrow you think about becoming someone better. Today I just want to think about gaining more and more and more. How many of us are in this process? The thing is, we can put it this way, okay? I'm gonna say something which I hope it doesn't sound bad. But if you find out that you have a cancer, you're gonna die in 1 year, I could say lucky you, because at least you know when you're gonna die, then you have 1 year to change, let's say. But most of us we don't have this. We don't know when we're gonna die. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be in the next hour. So if you are only giving importance to all the importance, I'm not saying that we should not care about certain things, to the material, to the belongs. We are not really giving importance to the soul, to our spirituality, to our moral improvement, to our knowledge. When I mean knowledge, I'm not talking about to learn how uh, to work in a program, for example, to work in a software, but knowledge of good things. You know what I mean? So if you don't start to think about this, it might be too late. And that was the case of Lazarus. That was the case of the man of the parable of the talents. But it was not the case of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, he had the chance. Not that he had the chance. He chose to have the chance to change. He realized, I said, okay, I have done this. I will do that no more. I'm going to change. How many of us want to be Zacchaeus? Most of us, we don't want. Go ahead, Stevan.
Yeah, Danny wrote here, let's be honest, I wouldn't go immediately. I would definitely to think about my new job, my family, but the thing is, it's a metaphorical situation because what God wants is that we trust on Him. We go for bed and put our head on the pillow without any concerns, just knowing that God is always with us. also difficult, needs daily practice. Our faith is still weak, I think. Exactly this, Danny. That's the message here. Uh, we needed to we needed to evaluate ourselves every day. We needed to try to become a better person. Everyone has your own way, everyone has your own difficulties, your own problems. Everyone, I have picture a good person in a different way. Perhaps you have, perhaps Wanderley have, but it's the same goal, and we need to try, and we need to try every time. We need to try. Now, like for example, if we take the parable here, Jesus in the house of Zacchaeus. What Zacchaeus did? He was a small guy, and with the crowd, Jesus coming in from Jericho, he was a small guy. What he did? He just jumped on on a tree, the highest tree, and started to scream and call Jesus' attention. And Jesus said, "I go and have dinner in your house." It was for the society at the moment, it was a very uh, not good looking, because Zacchaeus, it was a rich man, and Jesus was a kind of poor doing, and oh, he prefers to eat in a rich place. But at the end, the lesson learned here is Jesus felt the true trust, the true devotion in Zacchaeus, saying, I will be a better person. I will treat my, I don't know, employees, slaves that time. No, in a different way. He will start to look after the poor. So the moment when Jesus accepted the invite was not for himself, it was to change someone. And according to what we know, Zacchaeus did a lot of good things after that episode. Because if perhaps Jesus didn't accept, Zacchaeus didn't have the first step to go up in that tree and say and call Jesus' attention, perhaps he will stay doing what he was doing. So, like what Danny said here, we need to put our heads on the pillow and think about what I did good, what I have done to the others. Am I harming someone? Because even though we don't have the intention to harm someone, sometimes when we have some decisions, I would say most of our decisions always gonna harm someone. Like I don't know, a CEO of a company, sometimes they need to take hard decisions, and many families rely on his decision. But what is the easiest way to do? What is the way we can transform ourselves like Zacchaeus did here? Are you able to change yourself? Are you able to switch from one person to another person. What do you think about this parable of Zacchaeus, Wanderley?
I think the parable of Zacchaeus is a beautiful one because, as you said, there was a calling, but the calling wasn't from Jesus. He was the one who took the first step, and that shows to us how important it is to take the first step. Like Stevan said, at that time in society, because Zacchaeus was a tax collector, he wasn't really uh, a man that people would like because he was
Mhm.
charging. He was a Jewish person like the others, like Jesus, charging tax for the Roman Empire. So he wasn't someone that everyone would like and invite him to go to his house. Then everyone was really annoyed with Jesus because, come on, how come do you invite a tax collector? Are you crazy? You said you're a nice guy,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
inviting a tax collector. But what Jesus saw, because what we have to understand about the parable of Zacchaeus, that when Jesus was coming from Jericho, there was many people, many people. But Zacchaeus, a man, as it says here in the parable, a short man, a man who was far away from Jesus. So what did Zacchaeus do? Zacchaeus, he made himself visible to Jesus. So he's like us. A lot of us in life, we say, I want to get this job. I want to do my master. I want to study abroad. I want to do this and that. But how many of us just stayed in the wanting process? We're just staying in the desire process. But we're not like Zacchaeus a lot of times. We don't go there and take actions. Zacchaeus was a man who took an action. Maybe the action, like Stevan said, according to the society that they were living, it wasn't the best action that he could have taken. It was something which wasn't really pleasant to the others to see. But even though he did, because he was following his heart, because he saw how good Jesus was, the good that he was doing. So most of us, we see the examples of great people. We see the example of great religious people, great atheist people who are doing a lot of good for society. We see great examples in the Spiritism movement. But how many of us are following their examples? How many of us are doing what Zacchaeus did? Leaving things behind and say, okay, what I've done until now, it wasn't really the best actions I could have taken, but I did. I cannot change the past, but what I can do, I can start change my future. That's what Zacchaeus did. Zacchaeus put in practice what Chico Xavier used to say, though no one can change their past, everyone can change their future. That's what Zacchaeus did. How many of us are doing this? How many of us are putting effort to change ourselves for something good? And in this parable here, like Stevan said, Zacchaeus, according to Humberto de Campos, in I think Fonte Viva, I'm not sure which book it is.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, no, not Fonte Viva. I don't
I think
remember the
Boa
one.
Nova, the good news.
Yeah, the good news, yes. And I think the good news when Emmanuel explains that after the crucifixion, Zacchaeus was helping many poor people, especially the ones with leprosy.
He
So
gave the land, allowed to them to stay there.
I think so, yeah. So he was
Yeah.
helping a lot of people. Why? Because he saw one man, one good man doing something good, and he wants to follow his steps. But how many of us we see, we have here Facebook, we have social media, we have everything here. What we say, how do we use that mobile phone, this beautiful invention? We just going to give like on Instagram. But how many of us are seeing good examples and trying to follow the good examples? Because there are some good examples in social media. I'm not saying that they are all there, but there are some good examples. There are some good people doing good things. Most of us, we do like the people who were beside Zacchaeus. Oh, this is so nice. It's like giving a like on the mobile phone, but we don't take any actions. Zacchaeus took an action. And so the action which Zacchaeus took, according to Humberto de Campos, wasn't really well received by the Romans. Because then he stopped charging tax for the Romans. He started to change his way. He lost his possessions among the Jewish community, high society of the Jewish community, the Pharisees, Zacchaeus started to be seen like a crazy because he was following Jesus. So Zacchaeus left everything behind in order to follow a good idea. But again, I'm going to be asking, how many of us are doing this? How many of us are even following our dreams? How many of us are trying to say, okay, I want to lose weight, I want to do a course, I want to travel, whatever, and try to really be focused on these things? I'm not saying that we should all try to conquer the world. We should conquer ourselves, of course, first. That's the gospel of Jesus, is try to find the kingdom of heaven inside ourselves. But we are not doing anything, even for our own spirituality, and either to improve ourselves. We are just thinking about gain, gain, and gain, and more gain of money, of treasures, like we say here in the parable. And then I believe that's where we have to be careful. Because if our life, our main goal is just to gather more and more and more, I think life one day will say, hey, come back. But like he says in the parable, but let me just go there. I have to sell my car. I have to sell my computer. I have to. Life will say, you have to come right now. And what would you do? I don't know what would I do. But I know, I think I know what I would do. I would sit and cry, Steven. That's for sure.
Let me think. I would say, let me think.
No, I think I would cry straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Leon asking, what passage of the Bible is that from, guys? Leon,
Here.
you can find this parable of Zacchaeus on Luke 19, 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Also, introduction under the head publicans.
Yeah. No. I think it's only in this parable, Steven.
On Luke 19,
Yeah.
1 to 10.
Yeah. He's talking about the introduction of the gospel according to Spiritism. He's explaining what publican is.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So it's Luke.
Yeah, so Luke 19, 1 to 10. And,
Yeah.
we already said this here, but it's always good and healthy reminded. Let's take an example of Paul of Tarsus. Before Paul before Saul becomes Paul, Saul was a well-known person. He knows all the scriptures. He was there in the Synedrion, né? I think
Synedrion, yeah.
The Synedrion to
he was
because
like
he was standing by Moses' laws, all this. And he was responsible to stone Stephen. And he was responsible to persecute the apostles. He was responsible to that. So he see how many bad things he did. Okay, and he was going to Damascus in order to find out, because he wants to hunt. He was hunting. What's the name of the guy? He was hunting.
Zacarias, não é?
Zacarias, né? Zacarias.
Não, Zacarias
No,
não.
Zacarias, he done.
Oh God, forgot. Not it's it's with Z.
Zaqueu? No.
No, Zacchaeus, no. I forgot, but I will remember. I'm going to tell you now here.
Yeah. So he was hunting this guy. He was not going to Damascus for bills.
Ananias.
Huh?
Ananias,
yes. He was hunting Ananias because in his view, Ananias, it was the second Steven,
Yeah.
And at the gate of the Damascus, we have that episode in which he fall off his horse and he saw Jesus, and then he was blind after this. But At the moment he fall off his horse, and Jesus said to him, "So why do you persecute me?" And he didn't give any excuses. Say, "Oh, I persecute you because," and then he has a list from A to Z, because of this. No, he was not giving excuses. Like when you get a child, oh, why are you doing this? Oh, I'm doing this because my mom. No, he just said, what do you need me to do? So what is done is done. I cannot change it. But I I regret about it and what I need to do now in order to follow you. That's why after Damascus he went to the desert for almost 3 years in order to like digest this this situation, because he did a lot of bad things, and he knew it's not gonna be easy to knock on the door of Peter, for example, say, "Hey, how are you? I saw Jesus. I want to follow you. Hi, guys. Let's join together. Let's have a lunch together." No, he's not going to be easy like this. So, how many times we lose our time finding an excuse for everything in our life instead of just, okay, what is done is done. I cannot undo what I have done, but from now on I'm a new person, and you really you change yourself, because that's another virtue of Paul, because he did it and he didn't give a step back. He really changed himself. He really did what was necessary to to make this change. Let's see what Don's saying here. I've considered that position for many years. Could I walk away from everything? Yes. But my wife would be very angry about it. Or is she going to be happy? Don. We don't know. Joke. No, I'm just saying. But the point is, yes, my friend, we have so many excuses nowadays. You know, you have said to your wife, I have my wife, my daughters, questions, basic questions. Okay, I follow him, but what am I gonna eat tomorrow? What I have to, if I have code. So how many times Paul didn't know what he gonna eat? How many times he slept in caves? How many times he was uh, 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 um, some robbers approached him? How many times he walked like perhaps without sandals? And he he was not preparing like ourselves. Like we always, when we're gonna do something, we prepare a schedule. Those who are organized, they prepare a schedule. No, like I'm gonna see that country, I want to go there first. I'll have a dinner there, I have a lunch here, I'll stop here 15 minutes to to admire this landscape, then I go here. It's well prepared. Some people, they don't care, just go. How you gonna, what are you gonna do? I would say we can go to both sides. Both sides has your pros and both sides has your cons. In order to follow without worrying about what's gonna happen, it's good, because put your faith, but at the same time, you don't measure the consequences. If you go doing a planning, perhaps doing too much plan, you will lose yourself. Sometimes we need to put our faith and say, I'm doing this, but be your your will on our life. Harb is saying here, the teachings can only guide. Change has to come from each individual when the time is right. I agree with you, Robbie. Change has to come from each individual when time is right. Yes, but if you don't prepare yourself today, how many incarnations you will need in order to be prepared for this right time? How many incarnations you're gonna waste to be prepared for the right time? Why don't you start right now? I know we cannot leave our life and lock ourselves in a I'd say mosteiro one way
In a monastery.
in a monastery and say, hey, but you can change it today. Your actions, how you treat yourself, how you treat your neighbors, how you are, how is your relationship with your wife, how is your relationship with the guy who comes collect your garbage, the guy who opens the door when you go to the restaurant, the valet service, how you treat your boss, how you treat even though a rich person. All these you can start doing right now. The changes if you do this today, the changes you need to perform in this incarnation will help you to be ready when the right time comes. It's not keeping doing wrong things and say, oh, it's not my time, so I come back next incarnation. And this falls with the parable of talents. What are you doing with your talents? Let's take again the example of Don example here. You want to do, but my wife will be angry. Wow, why do not change yourself in order to make your wife see how much you changed, how much you improved yourself, and say to you, hey, I want to take what you got because you now is a wonderful guy, a wonderful person. I want to be like you, and she will follow you instead of she be angry with you. That's the position we want to change in a such a way that those you say, oh, if I left them behind, I worry about that. They will say, wow, you changed a lot and I want to do exactly what you did. Please guide me because I want to follow you. This is, this is apply the correct efforts for the talents given to you. What are you doing with your talents? Everyone has some. It's impossible. Don't exist a person without a talent. We do have our talent. Do you think this is valid, Wanderley?
It is, especially once you talk about the parable of the talents. It is for me one of the most beautiful parables of the entire gospel, Because this parable, like Steven was saying, it asks us, what are we doing? But at the same time, I like how this parable starts, because as it says here, the kingdom of heaven is like a man, a king who is traveling. So what does this king do? He take his servants and say, Stephen, I'm gonna entrust you with a wife, two kids, and a dog. Okay, Wanderley, I'm going to entrust you with this and that, and Robbie, this and that. But this man, once he comes from his journey, he asks to his servant, "What have you done with the talents I gave you?" The two first ones, they took what God has given to them, and they prospered. So they took five, one took five, the other took three, and they doubled the talents what they gave in life. What does that mean? So that God gave to those ones a life with challenge, of course, not a happy life all the time, but they improved their life. They were the responsible for their happiness. They were responsible for their choices, but they make that life prosper. And when I mean prosper, here in the parable, of course, he's talking about talents. And talents, we have to understand that talents at the time of Jesus was like a currency, so was money. He wasn't talking about the talents that we are talking today. Okay? Talent, something that you do, some um, facility that you have to do something. No, the talent that he was mentioning, he was money. So God gave the owner of the land gave something to them, and they prospered with that talent, that money that they gave to him. But the last one, he didn't do it. Why? He was afraid. And in this parable, we see this. So many of us, we receive the same life, the same talents. Of course, a lot of us, we receive less, like we have here. One received five, the other received three, and the other received only one. But you see how this rich man is merciful and he's good and wise. He didn't go to the man who gave only one talent and said, "Hey, I gave you one, I want to receive them back." No, but he said, "Okay, if I gave you one, I must receive at least one back. The one which I gave you plus another one. So you have to make something good. You have to have made some juros, Stephen. Forgot now.
Interest.
Yeah, you have to make some interest with the money which I gave to you. So God gives something to us, but God does not ask us the same thing which I would ask to Stephen. He wouldn't ask the same to me. Why? Because he know what he gave me. So he know when we receive a life, God knows what to expect from us. Okay, but millions of us, according to Xavier, we come to this life and we go back to the spiritual world um, in a kind of in a low debt. So we came with five, we are earning to the bank, to life, to God, whatever name we can give, just a metaphor here. We are earning 10 now. So you know what I mean? We are not really taking full advantage of the things that we have. We are not really appreciating what we have. We are not using the things which life gives to us fully. We are just passing through. That's what Joan Angelis call the sleeping conscious. Someone who stays enjoying their life as much as they can. They are still going to work. They're still having sex, drinking, having fun, just enjoying. But they pass through life without having a life without meaning. That's what Joanna de Angelis calls sleeping conscious. And that's the last one here in the Power of Talents. Many of us, we are still doing this. We are living without thinking. We are living without caring about the others. We are living a life meaningless. Why? Do we have to find a purpose to go and save Africa and save the world? No, we said that so many times. What our purpose in life? To become better to ourselves and the others. But like in the parable, we don't have to be that one who received five. If we are the one who received only one, let's do the best with the one that we have. Let's do the best of the life that we have. But many of us, we are afraid. Or many of us, we still prefer to close our eyes and say, I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't know I have to do any good. I thought I just have to live life. So if you are think like this, rethink about yourselves, because like it said in the Old Testament, that God would be sending prophets to all nations. So then nations they will know that who is the real God. What they are trying to say, that in the spiritual world, many spirits they went everywhere around Earth, in every part of the globe, bringing some good words, bringing some good teachings, bringing some good examples. Some spirits they are more well known, like Saint Francis, like Saint Augustine. Some of them they are not so well known, but in each place, God sends his messengers. So we cannot say, oh, no one told me. I didn't know how to do it. We know how to do it, but we don't want to do it because it's much easier to say, I didn't know. We're like child. You know what I mean? We just say, sorry, it's not my fault.
Yeah. It
And that,
wasn't me, it was him.
and that's what this guy did. He said to the master, it wasn't my fault. I was afraid.
Yeah. Um, Robbie says, different for all of us, though. The jump from studying to true practice is a big jump for a lot of people. I would say for everyone, Robbie, for everyone, even for us. Like we read, we comment here, but in our real life, it's tricky to apply it. You know, it's tricky. Liam, hoping to make the world a better place, one favela at a time, is what I'm trying to do with my talents. Perfect, Leon. Exactly. Exactly. We. I have a list of problems of things I need to improve in myself. Pick one. Oh, but I have the others. I know I have the others. But at least in this incarnation, I'm gonna get rid of one, or starting to get rid of one. Okay. Also, hobby. The process of change can be slow. With patience is required. Why patience is required? Nature doesn't rush to produce flowers fruit. Flowers fruit. Better to take your time to ensure you understand why we change. Perfect. Don't ask me what favela. Favela is a shanty town. It's it's that place in the Rio, not just Rio, but let's use Rio because Leon is in Rio. You have the mountains and those guys who live in the houses made by wood. You know, not very well sometimes good looking, built in a nice way, or because they don't have where to live. It's live there or live on the streets. Uh, Don also said here, I think in today's world, this parable would apply more to walking away from our pursuit of material abundance, instead, in order to seek spiritual abundance. So many in our materialistic world are not willing to give up their material possessions. Don, we we are here in this world. It means we are still and are very attached to the material world. That's why we are here. If we are not attached to the material world, probably we took the wrong bus. But because Jesus is perfect, God is perfect, I think if you think you took the wrong bus, it's better you analyze and you review your concepts, because we are in the right place at the right time. You guys are watching us today, or you guys will watch us in the future. It's the right time. It's because you needed to watch this, because you needed to remind this, it's because me and Wanderley needed to study this. need to talk about this to apply in our lives. You know, it's not, we are not here in a position of professor. You know, you went to the college, you graduate yourself, you know trick ways, and you come to our students and say, hey, let's do this, and you teach them. We are not in a position to teach anything to anybody. We are in a position here to, hey, let's read here, let's try to understand in a spiritist way and apply this in our lives. You know, and then he says, I'm always afraid. I would say that I never met anyone else like me when we talk about fears, but I know that I keep going. There is no other way. Sometimes we just don't want to do anything, but we need to take a chance because we have one more day to live. Danny, uh, I will not give any details here, but Danny is a perfect example of changing life, and she had the courage. For me, Danny, you have no fear. You may have doubts, but you pursued what you put in as a goal for you. You change your life completely. And guys, believe me, I know her story a little bit, and I know he changed her life 180 degrees. Not 360, because 360 you go back to the same point, 180 degrees. And she's an example of that. We need to learn a lot with her. We need to learn a lot with these fears she said here. Of course she had fears. When I moved to Ireland, I had many fears. When Wanderley moved to Ireland, he had many fears. Fears, anxiety, doubts. You know, we are full of these, my friends. Our day is full of these. Our decisions. I would say a good decision is not taken if you don't have fear and you don't have doubts. Because when you have a decision without fear, without doubts, probably you are doing something wrong. Because the fear and the doubts are the two. We did something here, by the way. It's noisy. No, I cannot hear you.
Okay? Can you hear
Now
me?
is yes. Now it's okay.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. So when you have a decision without fear, without doubts, please, before you proceed, stop and think about it, because something is wrong here. And the fear and the doubts, they are the tools, not to avoid you or block your decision. They are the tools to review, revisit your decision, to analyze everything, and then you make a decision. The fear, again, the fear and the doubts are not here to block your decision. They are here to help your decision. Like incarnation, we have our problems. Our problems, why we have problems? In order to improve ourselves, in order to become a better person, in order to face our bad tendencies and overcome it. So, Vanelli, your final your final comment. So you have to go. Vanelli needs to
Sorry.
go. It's about time. Okay, okay, Vanelli have to go. No problem. So, do you have any other question, guys? Because I think we explored a lot here. But I think the good lesson or good thing we need to put in our mind today, when we need to make a decision, the fear, the doubts, we need to see it as a we need to see it with good eyes, because this will most of the times avoid us to have bad decisions. Again, they are not here to block our decisions, to avoid us to make our decisions. They are here to help. And at the end, when after your decision, you can look back and you can be proud of yourself. And I'm pretty sure, Danny, you should be proud of yourself. And anyone here should be proud of yourself, because you are here, you are watching us every Tuesday, every Thursday. You are here. You are here. So you change your life. For some point, this makes sense for you. And perhaps you don't see a way how this can help you today. But I'm pretty sure when the time comes, you will remember what we said today on the other lives, or what we're gonna say in the future lives. And you say, "Oh, we studied this, we talk about it. Now I need to behave like this." Okay, Don. This could be a goal to achieve a mindset that I could actually walk away from everything. No, do it, but let go of my attachments to my possessions. I think of it often. Don't think, act. That's my advice here, my friend. Act. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to regret sometimes. But don't do anything if you're gonna harm someone. That's the point. Leah said, "Thank you for these messages this evening. I need this pat on the back, my friend." Oh, everyone needs here, my friend. Everyone. Danny, this relationship about fear, doubt, see with other eyes actually makes sense. Yeah, really good this point. And thanks for being so kind. No, it's true, my friend. It is true. It is what it is. It is what it is. We need to be proud of ourselves. When we look back, yes, I did it. Perhaps you didn't achieve the goal you are looking for, but you overcome something. You overcome your fears, you overcome your doubts, and this is what matter. Okay? So, thank you again. Let me do the final prayer. And I want to say thank you for all the spiritual friends who taking care of us, our mentors of the countries we are living in. Thank you for your patience, your kindness. Please guide ourselves in this journey to overcome our fears, to overcome our doubts, in order to become a better person, in order to know what to do with our talents, in order to change us like Zacchaeus, in order to follow Jesus and left everything behind and follow him. May we have a wonderful week. So be it. Amen. Don't say it. Yoda, Master Yoda said, no think, do. That's it. No think, do. Okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, everyone, for your time, your patience. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow with the Spiritual Light show at 9 p.m. and Thursday with the Spirits book uh, study. Okay? Thank you. Bye bye. And oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget, we have our virtual healing today, 8:30. 8:30 on our YouTube. Is 15 minutes very quickly. So please join us on our YouTube channel, Spiritism Ireland. It's 15 minutes. Okay? The team is waiting for you there. Okay? Thank you. Bye bye.